Hello everyone. Welcome to Ninooya channel. I'm Nino.
And I'm Joy. Today's episode is one we really care about because we've seen how deeply it affects people, often in silence. We're talking about something that many people struggle with but don't know how to name: the difference between being lazy and being depressed.
You know, Joy, I think this episode is overdue. I've had friends, and even myself at times, beat ourselves up for not being productive enough. That feeling of guilt when you just can't get things done. But deep down, it's not because you don't want to. You can't.
Totally. It's heartbreaking how often people label themselves as lazy when in reality, they're dealing with an invisible illness. Mental health struggles like depression don't always look like what we expect.
Right, and it's especially hard in today's culture of hustle and rise and grind. If you're not always achieving something, people assume you're slacking. But depression doesn't care about your schedule. Let's be honest, how many times have you said to yourself, I'm just being lazy, when really something else was going on? We internalize that guilt, but what if it's not laziness at all?
It's a common trap. Society tells us to always be productive, always be grinding. But when your brain is working against you, that expectation can feel impossible. And that's when we start labeling ourselves unfairly.
Let's break down how depression can disguise itself. First, persistent fatigue. This isn't just feeling tired after work. It's waking up exhausted, feeling drained by simple tasks, and not bouncing back after rest.
Exactly. You might sleep 10 hours and still feel like you've run a marathon. And then there's anhedonia. That's a clinical term for when things that used to bring you joy just don't anymore. Music, hobbies, food, even hanging out with loved ones.
And let's talk about executive dysfunction. That's when your brain struggles with planning, organizing, remembering tasks. It's not about being disorganized on purpose. It's like trying to run a marathon with weights on your ankles.
Then there's isolation. Depression often convinces you that you're a burden to others. So you stop replying to messages, skip social events, and stay in bed not because you want to, but because you feel paralyzed.
And that leads to guilt, which makes the depression worse. It's a vicious cycle.
Also, physical symptoms can confuse things. Depression can show up as body pain, headaches, or stomach issues, things people don't usually associate with mental health.
Let's bring in a story. We got a message from Sam, who said, For a long time I thought I was lazy. I couldn't get out of bed, I missed deadlines, and I stopped hanging out with friends. I hated myself for it. Eventually, I talked to a therapist and found out I had depression. That changed everything.
Sam, thank you. That story really highlights how many people suffer in silence. Just naming what you're going through can be the first step toward healing.
Let's share a story from one of our listeners, Olivia. For the longest time, I thought I was just being lazy. I'd start crying while brushing my teeth for no reason. I couldn't keep my apartment clean. I hated myself for it. I thought I just needed to be more disciplined. It wasn't until a friend gently suggested I talk to a therapist that I realized this was depression. I wasn't lazy. I was hurting.
Thank you, Olivia. That honesty is powerful, and it's something a lot of people will relate to.
Let's go over some signs that what you're experiencing might actually be depression.
All right, here's number one. 1. Exhaustion that doesn't go away. Even after sleeping 8, 10, or more hours, you wake up tired. It's not just physical, it's mental, emotional, and it's heavy.
2. Guilt and shame. You're not just avoiding work. You're beating yourself up about it constantly. You feel like a failure, even though you're doing your best to function.
3. Nothing feels rewarding anymore. You used to enjoy reading, watching movies, gaming, going out with friends. Now it all feels dull. That's called anhedonia, a classic symptom of depression.
4. Everyday tasks feel impossible. Showering, eating, replying to a message, or even brushing your teeth can feel like climbing a mountain. You want to do it, you just can't.
5. You're not enjoying rest. When you're lazy, you might enjoy the chill. But when you're depressed, you don't even enjoy doing nothing. You just feel numb, stuck, or restless.
6. Isolation. You don't want to talk to anyone. Not because you're moody, but because you feel like a burden. You're withdrawing from the world.
7. Negative self-talk. You constantly think, I'm useless, I'm a failure, I'll never get better. Depression lies to you, and those lies are loud.
And don't forget, lack of pleasure is key. Laziness often comes with short-term enjoyment. Depression doesn't. You're not watching Netflix for fun. You're doing it because anything else feels impossible.
We really need to change the language we use. Lazy is such a loaded word. It's dismissive and shame-inducing. When someone is struggling, they need compassion, not judgment.
Yeah. Think about it. Would you call someone with the flu lazy for staying in bed? So why do we do that with mental illness?
And when you internalize that stigma, it delays healing. You keep pushing through thinking you just need more discipline when what you actually need is care.
And sometimes people are high functioning with depression. They appear to be doing okay, but they're burning out on the inside. So we need to check in on our strong friends too.
So what steps can you take if this sounds like you? Reach out, even if it's just a text to someone you trust. Break tasks into micro goals. Instead of cleaning your whole room, try just putting away one item. Acknowledge your effort. Surviving is already a big deal. Limit comparisons. Everyone is fighting battles you can't see. Consider professional help. Therapy and medication can help rebalance your life. Use body doubling techniques. Have a friend on a call while you do tasks. It can really help. Practice gentle routines like daily stretching, sun exposure, or journaling.
There's no shame in needing help. In fact, seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness.
Absolutely. You matter, and your well-being is important. Always. Thanks for tuning in. We hope this episode helps you or someone you love understand the difference between depression and laziness a little better.
If it resonated with you, please share it or just sit with it. Be kind to yourself. You're doing better than you think.
And if you know someone who might benefit from this conversation, share this episode with them. Let's break the stigma together. We'll catch you next time on Ninooya Podcast.